everybody, welcome to this week's edition of Blog Talk TV, the social media inspired talk show that features some of the country's biggest bloggers.
That's right, we share stories of inspiration from their success while offering you some practical how-to tips to jumpstart your blogging career.
And we've got a great show today featuring David Glass, who's going to talk all about what it takes to organize some of these big tech conferences that you attend. So I'm your host, Bess.
And I'm Ben Reed from OrlandoWaterhole.com.
And I think we're going to get right to it with the social media
question of the day.
God, that was good.
So today's question comes to us from Mike Cooney from Cooney's World Adventures. He's a travel blogger, and he asked the question we always get: how do you monetize your blog? And we've talked about this almost with every guest. We give a little bit of hints here and there, but I want to change it a bit, and I want to ask you, Bess, how about the first way that you made money from blogging? Do you remember what that was?
I do, but real quickly, I want to go back to Mike Cooney.
Okay.
Because he actually is one of my favorite bloggers. So I've had the opportunity to go to Asia with my mom. Trip of a lifetime. It was great. But before I went, I explored his blog all over. So Cooney World Travels. And this is a guy that pulled his teenage sons out of school. Now, I have a teenage son. He would kill me if I did that. But Mike pulled his teenage sons out of school, sold off just about all his belongings, and they went on a trip around the world. Who does that?
It's an amazing
It's amazing.
adventure.
And so it's this incredible blog to get. And so he had to learn, of course, how to monetize that in order to keep it going so he didn't get like stranded out of money in like Vietnam or someplace. So anyway, great blog. Check it out if you get a chance. So the first way I actually monetized my blog was through a sponsored post, but it wasn't through a blog network or anything like that. I actually had a local movie theater that was hosting a film festival, and they actually...
Sorry, I think the dog is making noise.
Sorry. Quiet.
He's licking himself.
Can you say that on TV?
It's a dog. I just hear this. Sorry.
All right, back to the film festivals.
So
the film festival is looking to have some bloggers write about the upcoming film festival, and so they did some neat stuff. They actually had some celebrity chefs in for the moviegoers throughout the week, and so we got to go in for previews and stuff like that. So that was my first foray into monetizing my blog. So I was paid to help promote that, got a lot of great food along the way, and saw some great movies too. How about you? What was your first way?
it was a banner ad for a travel company. I forget which one it was. I think it was a hotel or something. But it was actually someone came to me, so I didn't have to find somebody. Someone emailed me and said, "Hey, we're working with bloggers. Would you be interested in this?" And the way that they came to me was from other bloggers. So they had found one blogger to work with, and they had noticed that there were other bloggers that were commenting on their site and engaging with them on Twitter and sharing their stuff. So they got to see more and more bloggers. So they were able to hit all of us bloggers just because we had all been talking with each other. So I think the lesson is there's great value in constantly engaging with other bloggers that you do write about in the same niche and outside that niche too, because you never know where the next opportunity may come from.
Yeah, that's actually a great point, because a lot of times I'll have brands that come to me and say, we're looking for food bloggers, we're looking for mommy bloggers, can you help us find some? And I know some of the savvier brand reps do look at the Twitter, who they're engaging with. So bloggers, it always pays to retweet somebody else's story. Don't feel like it always has to be your content being shared, because sometimes if you tweet a story about a brand that another blogger has written, that brand suddenly notices you, and then they may reach out to engage you for a paid sponsorship as well. So, wow, excellent point.
And people always ask, how much do you charge when you work? So I think it was $50 was how much that little banner ad costs at the beginning.
Yeah, so we've actually got a whole series on monetizing your blog. If you're interested in, you can check it out at gottagetblogging.com. They're the sponsor of our show, so I might as well plug them some. So we'll be right back though after this short break with another blogging tip.
Hey there, fellow bloggers. Real Iron Dad here with a huge no-no for you that you might already know. Do you do Skype calls? Are you trying to record your Skype call for a podcast or a video for your YouTube channel? Well, if you are, make sure you put some headphones or earbuds in. The little microphones inside the earbuds will help you sound better than speaking into your computer speakers, and there will be no chance of an echo on the other end of the recording. This simple tip applies to you and your guest to make sure you have the best sound quality possible. This is Real Iron Dad saying go the extra mile for your blog.
Blog Talk TV is produced by GottaGetBlogging.com, an online community featuring how-to video tutorials on everything from monetization, working with brands, the basics of setting up your first blog, and more. Visit GottaGetBlogging.com to sign up for a free or pro membership today.
So we're thrilled to welcome David Glass of Orlando IX, as well as several other tech conferences. I've had the pleasure of attending some of them. So David, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Bess and Ben.
So David, you founded several conferences and have been engaged in the technology space for a long time. Where did it all begin? What's your history?
Well, it started about 2008, and what I found was in Florida, there weren't a lot of tech conferences going on, specifically to educate people on emerging trends and digital media and interactive and the stuff that I was covering while running the Florida Technology Journal. And so I decided to create it. And so that's sort of the impetus of starting our events that we've been hosting for the last 6-7 years was in 2008 by just virtue of folks leaving and going to California and Austin and New York for that type of programming, and I wanted to create it here.
What was the first event you created?
It was the Internet Technology Summit, which is now known as iSummit. It changed.
And who are some of the names that you have that come speak in there? They're huge.
We've had folks from Google Ventures, the founder of Priceline.com. We've had the CTO of Mashable, senior vice presidents at Cisco come in, really brands and Bess Hour.
And you were feeding that
I was
question.
fishing for that, and he did not get to it.
Google, Cisco, and Bess.
I had to give the visual prompt.
Bess has been alumni at iSummit for the last few years, and she's been awesome.
Well, it really is a great conference, and truly, I mean, it really brings just some really globally known names together. So it's a great conference.
What have you seen that's changed since the first technology conference you started in today? Because I mean, 6 years is not a whole lot of time, but in technology, it's a long time.
Well, the content, it's always a challenge year to year to just create your program because, as you said, the technology changes so fast. So mobile wasn't as huge as it is now. I mean, we're talking about wearable technology more. We're talking about some of the applications you see in digital media across other things like health platforms. I mean, stuff that you'd never think, 5 and 6 and 7 years ago you'd see today. So you've got to keep up with the content has to keep up with those changes. And that's always a bit of a challenge year to year.
When you think back, 5 years ago, was mobile and what you've just talked about, was it ever on the radar blip? Like, were there any cues that you're like, oh, we missed that cue and we would have known? Like, could you have predicted the future, I guess is what I'm asking.
Yeah, there were some early conversations. We did have a speaker about 7 years ago that talked about social media, and no one knew what even that term was. His name's Bernie Borges, and I can't believe it when we go back to that tape of like 7 years ago. This is like 2007, before it really started becoming mainstream, and he started talking about Facebook when nobody even knew what Facebook was. And so I thought that's pretty crazy that at one of our early events in 2007, 2008, they're talking about these brands that are now mainstream today, even Twitter.
So you ready for my tangent?
Let's take us down that
I
road.
always get a tangent, one per show. So my son, 19 years old now, however many years ago when he was real little, I needed to get work done, so I had to occupy him. So I said, well, why don't you design something that you'd like somebody to develop? And he drew a phone that he wanted to play video games on and that he wanted to be able to take pictures with. I'm sure that Apple somehow got that drawing, and that's why they went the way they went. But I remember when he drew that, I was thinking,
I'm sure.
like, right, dream on, Jackson, that will never happen. It's amazing how fast it has all changed and become a reality.
So let's talk about your latest event, Orlando IX. What is that all about?
Exciting.
It's a 5-day international digital festival that'll be hosted in Orlando this October, and it brings together the world's leading creators of entertainment technology, interactive media, and digital arts. And we're really a world leader in those technologies right here. So we're inviting the world to come here for a number of different events, from gaming tournaments to gaming exhibitions to showcasing the latest trends in technology. as it relates to those industries, to lots of workshops and content. So it's really exciting.
And is this an event that's geared primarily to industry people, or is it for the average consumer as well?
Both. So you've got the folks that build and create, video games on one side, and then you've got the folks that play video games. So we're turning the Amway Center into a gaming stadium for 2 days. So you've got independent developers that are showcasing games that they worked on. It could be one individual person that maybe works for EA Sports but does games on the side, and they want a way to showcase. It could be students. It could be small studios, so we have a lot of those across the Southeast. But we want those groups to showcase what they're working on, and then you've got the public that has the opportunity to play those games.
So for our viewers that are not familiar with Florida, let alone Orlando, besides it being Disney World, what is it about Orlando that made you think this was the right place to have it?
Because we're a world leader in entertainment technology,
Okay.
and you look at our parks, Disney and Universal, and some of the brands that are based here like EA Sports and Zynga, and now Apple is here. We're a hub for this stuff. And I think what is interesting is how do we separate Orlando and Florida away from California and Austin and New York? And we have something here that we own, and we own the entertainment technology piece. So you think about all the technologies that power the rides at Disney and Universal. We're talking about visual effects, animatronics, computer simulation, all that stuff. It's made right here. So
I'm familiar with South by Southwest, as I think probably most of our viewers are. Will this be similar? Will it be different? Will it be better? How will it be unique?
Well, it'll be unique to Orlando because we're playing to the strengths of the area. So you don't want to take something that's somewhere else and duplicate it here. You can't do that. So we're going to play to what we're good at. And again, that goes back to the entertainment technology piece. We're a hub for that, and we can play to those strengths as well as interactive and digital arts. So that's what we're excited about, is getting people excited about what's happening here.
Very good.
What does it take to plan an event like that? To bring in all of these top names, and you're renting out an entire stadium. I mean, how do you do that?
And I'm assuming you have to get community leaders involved.
Yeah, you have to get, it's collaboration at all levels, starting with your mayors, your economic development folks, your universities, getting the industry behind it. And we've been able to do that. And it's taken about 3 years just to get to this point. So it's not easy, but we've been able to do it.
So so most of our viewers are bloggers, social media. Why would bloggers be interested in attending this? What sort of things would be geared towards them?
Well, I think bloggers just want to be around other bloggers.
We do, I admit it.
I think bloggers that would cover this industry would be very interested. I think with the last 2 days of our event will be very similar to iSummit, where we'll have more content strategies and social media and blogging type topics, so they'll be attracted to those. But yeah.
So are there any trends that you can share that we can maybe see at Orlando IX? Like what are some of the hot things that people are working on?
Wearable technology is huge. Anything to do with sensors is really, really huge right now. So wearables, we're seeing
What's the coolest wearable you've heard about? Is it the contact lenses, you think?
I haven't heard that one.
Where have you seen that?
You have not seen the wearable contact lenses they're developing?
No.
I will have to find a video and put it on this episode, then I will tweet it out to you all.
Okay.
They just talked about the mobile conference I was at. Never mind. All right. David Glass, go ahead and share your favorite wearable technology.
I think all the little cool bracelets that measure all your health and your vital stuff is pretty cool. And if you walk in any electronics store, you'll see entire sections devoted to wearables now. So it's unbelievable.
And Body Armor or Under Armour just bought MyFitnessPal.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. So how cool is that?
So David, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we've got some more questions for you, so more to come.
Hi, I'm Professor Josh, and I'm here to talk to you about a cool gadget. So if you're like me, you want to film on the go, a lot of times you'll have your iPad. And the great thing about filming with the iPad or iPhone is, of course, you can upload it quickly, you can splice it, you can edit it, and get it out there. But one of the things you can't add is the iographer. And the great thing about it gives you a bunch of shoes for going ahead and putting on your mic, maybe putting on a light source really easily, have that there. Also, you can add a lens. So you can add different lenses. So if you want a wide angle lens or something a little different on there, you're able to add that and put that on there. It's really easy to hold. You're able to film. It kind of steadies it a little more for you, and you're really able to get a great recording. Of course, for the price, you can't beat it. It's right around, depending on if you're getting the iPhone or iPad or iPad mini, right around that $60, $70 mark on their site. They also sell a lot of the accessories, so you're able to get a lot of the accessories right on their site. You don't have to go searching around for them. So definitely iographer is a great site to check out for these kind of, quick on-the-go shooting needs. So I definitely recommend these guys. And for more apps and gadgets, check out my site, ProfessorJosh.com.
We're back with David Glass. We're talking about technology, Orlando IX, a digital conference. Technology is always changing. How do you keep up?
How do I keep up?
Yeah, how do you stay current with what's happening to make sure that the events
I just
are
read
fresh?
Bless's blog. That's what I have to do.
No, we depend on you for this stuff.
I go to a lot of different conferences and events. Of course, the programming that we host, we feel like it's relevant, and so I want to hear from the speakers that we bring in from around the world to come speak, and I learned from them. Aside from that, blogs like TechCrunch and Mashable seem very, very current on what they're publishing, and so that's always the way that I keep up with information. And then just talking to people in the industry.
What area of technology are you most interested in? What's your passion?
Overall, digital media, because it's sexy, it's cool. I mean, you get into gaming and simulation and all the cool stuff that you can kind of interact with.
I think you're our first guest to call technology, or at least internet media, sexy. I like that.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't? David, what's been your proudest moment in your career when you look back at all these different events you've put together?
Seeing them grow.
Yeah.
You go from a little 200 or 300 event to seeing, in some cases over 1,000 people in a room, and seeing it grow, and every year getting bigger and bigger speakers and more coverage, and looking at the Twitter feeds and seeing all the thousands of people using our hashtags, and it's kind of cool.
I think what impresses me is you are a perfect example of one guy having this dream, building it, and then seeing the impact on the thousands that learn from your vision and what you've brought and created. So, I mean, one guy really can change the landscape. So, just awesome job.
What do you hope your audience takes away from attending these events?
Well, it's always about connectivity, education, building things like investment pipeline, and so that's what we're about. At the end of the day, it's always connectivity and education. That's sort of my what I live by every day, and that's the coolest thing is being able to see people who've never met each other connect at one of our programs, or the education piece. Somebody saying to me that I'd never heard about that until we came to one of your programs. So that's always exciting.
Have you had to change the way that you market since you've been doing this for several years now? I'm assuming the way you, just like bloggers have to adapt to new talent, have had to change a little bit the way you market your conferences. Have you?
Well, I've had more people that I've been able to hire to do that
but
for me.
But I mean, using different channels and things.
Different channels, Instagram is really big now. Of course, the social media, we find ourselves using social media, Facebook, using the promoted tools that they have more, and those change. It seems like month to month. There's some, they change so much. So yeah, definitely more social and less traditional marketing is a thing I've seen over the past few years for us.
Very cool.
Tell us the details for those that want to attend the event. We haven't heard any of that. So how can somebody attend Orlando IX?
Go to orlandoix.com and they'll be able to find all the information out. We'll be opening up registrations a little bit later on this year. but they can stay current by just subscribing to our news feeds, and we'll be able to update people as things open up.
And are you on Facebook, Twitter, or
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we're everywhere.
And to be clear, that's not Orlando 9.
Yes, Orlando IX stands for the Orlando Interactive Experience.
I'm saying my mom. Sorry, Mom, I'm throwing you under the bus. Wanted to know what Orlando 9 was. I'm like, no, I don't think so.
David, and how about can we find you personally online? Do you have a blog or Twitter or anything like
Yeah,
that?
Twitter, David C. Glass. And I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere I'm all over. Just Google me.
Very
David
cool.
C. Glass. All right, well, we're going to move to our closing segment, which is show and tell.
Oh, yay! We tricked him into it.
We never prep the
into it.
guests to see if they do the jazz hands.
David got sucked into that one like, oh God.
So show and tell is where we highlight our favorite apps and gadgets and tech gear. So if you've got something that you want us to check out, you can send it to us at info@gottagetblogging.com. Bess, it seems like you are eager to share something.
So earlier in the show, talking about wearable technology, and I mentioned contact lenses, and you both looked at me like I had a third eye in the middle of my forehead wearing such a contact lens. Turns out it is a real thing. It is Google's pet project for creating contact lens, and they're hoping that the glucose in the eye will actually power it. So we've got a screenshot right here, so I will proudly prune my feathers while showing off my contact lens.
And what does the contact lens do?
It is a real, it's a real project. Now, who knows if they'll actually create it or not. But Google Smart Contact Lenses for Diabetics, another step towards Google-powered cyborg is the headline
That
for
makes you
it.
feel warm and fuzzy.
So there we go. It's Google X, the secretive research lab, famed for its work on Google Glass, which of course is now dying out.
Yeah.
So they're just waiting for the next step with the Google contact lens. But it looks very cool. It's going to have not only the ability to monitor the I guess diabetics blood levels, but also it's going to have an antenna embedded in it as well as a camera. I've heard an 8 pixel.
Wow.
So not bad.
Speaking of wearables,
8 megapixel, 8 pixel. What do I want to say? Crew? Y'all are looking at me like
8
an idiot.
megapixel.
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 Okay.
Did you have Google Glass? Did you play around with Google Glass at all?
I've worn it a couple times. It's very interesting. Yeah, it's it's one of those things that you thought would really, really take off, but sort of is maybe going through its next iteration of wearable. So
Did you ever play with Google Glass?
I did. So Professor Josh, as we know, was a Google Glass Explorer, and then a friend of mine, Jen Vargas, also had Google Glass. So I got to, whenever I see them, like commandeer their Google Glass and take it over. And it was fun to wear. I don't think I'd be into it day to day though, and I think that was the challenge, to have something that you would integrate seamlessly into your lives. And frequently, the more I saw Josh, the less he was wearing it. So I think that was the challenge.
Yeah. I never got to play with Google Glass.
Poor Ben.
Nope.
Poor Ben.
Missed that one.
There's always the contact lens.
There's always the contact lens.
coming.
So I've got something from careertipper.com.
Ah, Michelle.
So, yes, Michelle is a blogger. She writes about career advice.
Michelle Beatty.
And she has created an app. It's
cool.
it's the career and daily affirmation app. And what she's done essentially is every day you get a different, I'd call it I don't know if it's an infographic or not an infographic, but just like a graphic thing with words, text with words and pictures.
It's good to know Ben is employable.
But
I was worried about him.
well, we almost cut me out of the last episode behind the scenes.
Poor
That's a different
homeless
story.
Ben. He now can get a job.
Can I talk about Michelle? Because what she's done is she takes just these great
it's
words
very
of
pretty.
advice and encouragement, puts them on here just to remind you that you are, you can do something with your career. So she just takes existing content, really simple, really easy every day. You can see they all, every day a new one will be highlighted. Mm-hmm. And so I just think it's just a great, simple, fun blogging thing that she's created.
Yeah, and as we know, you got to have the confidence, especially if you're going through a hard time. So absolutely.
All right. So David, one more time, where can we find you online?
Well, you can learn about Orlando IX at orlandoix.com.
And Bess, what about you?
You can find me at @Bess_hour or at gottagetblogging.com.
And I'm at OrlandoWaterhole.com. Subscribe on iTunes and Instagram.
Yeah, so thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm kind of laughing. I'm getting my camera right now to take a picture of my cat. We've had a cat, we've had a dog, we've had lots of things happening behind the scenes. So thanks for hanging with us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for watching. All right, here comes Chad.